Legacy Boxing Showcase, sponsored by Legacy Boxing Promotions, Pettis Collision. I'm Ed Nunez, along with my co-host, Austin Colleen. Austin, welcome back. We'll have in our next segment, I'm excited to talk to him, Matthew Diamond Boy Griego. He's our guest in studio, and I'll tell you what, they talk about Diamond Boy, and we've seen him fight, the crowds that he brings. They liken him to a Johnny Tapia, you know, and Johnny Tapia, when you mention his name, it still sends shivers down my spine for the champion person that he was. What charisma. You know, we don't say these things lightly. When you mention Johnny Tapia along, you know, and Matt would be the first guy to tell you, he's still got ladders to climb. You know, you don't get to mention with a legend like Tapia without having to work, right?
Some people, they put Matt in a bad spot. They're dumping praise on him that he's not asking for. And he just wants to make his own name for himself. He wants to be the first Diamond Boy, not the next Johnny.
And, you know, that's important to note. I remember when we did Battle of the Brave out there at the fairgrounds, you know, and they came in with the New Mexico flag. Boy, some hype. He really did, and I love that. I love it, man. You know, and but you're right. Sometimes people want to make you into something. That was said to me about when I was going to be the broadcaster of Western New Mexico. Someone said, "Oh, he's the next Mike Watts or something." I said, "Look, all I can be is Ed Nunez. That's all I can be." And you know, you take things from other people, but you're Austin Colleen. Right. We don't try to be anybody that we can't. Diamond Boy's a young, up-and-coming fighter, exciting fighter, and we're anxious to get him on the next segment. Let's talk about some fights. Legacy Boxing, November 9th, next card at the Tingley Coliseum at the Expo, New Mexico. And to see a producer, Josh Brown, who always does a great job for us, can get the card up on the screen for us, and we'll go over some of these fights. And if you, the first fight, and Josh Pitbull Torres, the return of Josh Pitbull Torres, will fight Juan Jesus Rivera Garces. And so Pitbull took the last one off, and he's coming back. Jose Luis El Huerro Sanchez will take on Isaac Luna at 141. That's the main event. Josh Pitbull Torres. Aaron Perez, he's got to mention Angel Baby as an opponent to be announced. Matthew Diamond Boy Griego, who's our guest in studio, will also fight against an opponent to be announced. Jesus Pacheco, Yasmin Hogue, who fought out there at Buffalo Thunder.
It's a rematch.
Okay, so that Amy La Pocosita Salinas versus Tafashera Norwood. Abel Bobo Navarrete Jr. versus Jose Antonio Martinez. Gabriel Gabaldon against an opponent to be announced. Clinton Native Kid Chavez to be announced. And Andre Galarza against Adam Ramirez. Go ahead.
Well,
what intrigues you about? There's some good fights here on this card.
There's some excellent fights. Two young hot stars, obviously. One's our guest in the studio, but Amy Salinas is another hot fighter. She's raising the female level of fighting to a new notch. People are noticing her. They're realizing that female fighters know how to fight. They're getting the same training as the men. And I watched this Martinez girl up in sparring in the gym one day and beating the hell out of a male fighter.
Ooh.
And I felt bad for the kid, and he was so embarrassed. I said, "What are you embarrassed for? No one tried to take your place." I mean, it was a tough spot for him, and she just had better skills. Everything he threw at her, she slipped and countered, and she's a very strong girl. So female fighters are making their name in boxing.
No doubt, and getting better training. You mentioned that. We've got Yoruba Maru trains his daughter in town. She's an up-and-coming Shariah Maru.
Right.
She's an up-and-comer. Jordan, oh my God, Garcia, trained by her father, Steve Garcia. So that's all interesting. Any other fights that intrigue you? How about Pitbull Torres in the main event against Juan Jesus Rivera Garces?
The Perez brothers just gave me this lineup, so I haven't had a chance to check out his opponent. But Josh obviously is hot. He's 6 straight wins, 5 by knockouts. His last fight, he had a real fight in his hands. He fought a clever fighter who didn't really engage him. He stepped in and out. And
a little bit of controversial, you know.
Right.
A little bit of controversy. Pitbull got the decision, but you know, he had to stretch it, man. He had to. You know what they always say? Did they go to deep waters? Did you go to deep waters? And he was challenged. He answered the challenge,
right.
And he's got another challenge coming up November 9th.
And the semifinal is fantastic because you got 2 hot fighters here. This Isaac Luna comes from El Paso, but he's really developed a fan base up here in New Mexico. And one thing about the New Mexican fans, if you can fight, they like you. So if you come up here and you're the out-of-town guy and they've seen your face, they'll treat you with respect. They don't want you to beat the hometown boy, but they'll give you your credit. And this is a tough fight for Güero Sanchez.
Güero Sanchez, you're a big fan of his.
Well, he's got this ability to fight backing up, and it's most fighters like to come forward, but he's able to counterpunch and slap his opponents around. But Isaac Luna just scored a big upset over your favorite welterweight.
Papitas Escobar, and I mean a stunning upset. He walked right into a right hand, and it hit him right on the kisser. And as Joe Marciano used to say, "Good night, sweet prince."
He just put him down 3 times and destroyed him.
Yeah. And of course, Papitas is Escobar, one of my favorite fighters. We've got a lot of them here in Albuquerque. We'll be back to Legacy Boxing Showcase with our special guest, Matthew Diamond Boy Griego, after these messages.
Collision Center is a proud sponsor of Proview Networks and Albuquerque Boxing. Perez Collision Center offers expert knowledge on any of your auto body and paint needs. Give them a call today, 505-254-4655, or stop by for a visit at 2415 2nd Street Northwest in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Perez Collision Center.
To win the race, I can't even explain how, in fact, I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about it. No matter where you go, you're an Indy 500 winner. The only way to be successful in racing is to stay on top of the technical edge, and we've done that with our dealership. So a lot of the technology in our service department and sales processes, everything is the very latest. That gives you an edge. That's being competitive in the car business. You can take it any way you want, but that's the truth.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened?
Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rawlins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
The world-famous Laguna Burger is beautifully handcrafted. A burger that's created from certified Angus beef, sinfully cooked to juicy perfection, and garnished with New Mexico's Hatch green chili. Tempt your taste buds with mouth-watering fresh ingredients.
Cut! We're gonna need another Laguna Burger.
Try the irresistible world-famous Laguna Burger. Visit thelagunaburger.com. It's fresh with a kick.
Take 32.
Welcome back to Legacy Boxing Showcase, sponsored by Legacy Boxing Promotions, Pettis Collision, Ed Nunez, along with my co-host Austin Kalina, and our in-studio guest, Matthew Diamond Boy Griego, with a record of 10-0. How many 8 KOs? 8 KOs, just fought Leonardo Torres about 3 months ago. And Matt, I'll tell you what, man, it's an honor to have you here, sir.
Yeah, thank you guys. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, we sure appreciate it. Matt, you got a fight coming up against an opponent to be announced, Legacy Boxing Showcase, and they put on great cards, by the way. I know you've been trained with, you're trained with by Fidel Maldonado Sr., who also trains Fidel Maldonado Jr.
And Manuel Anaya.
Manuel Anaya, who I used to remember from Jack Candelaria Community Center. I used to be the director at East San Jose. So I know Manuel for years, and he's retired now. So Austin, Colleen, we'll have some questions for you. So go ahead, Austin.
Well, your last fight was the first time back in the ring.
Yeah, in what, 10 months?
Yeah, and you chose to fight off the ropes and be very defensive.
Yes.
And like Josh's fight, your fight, he got a reaction out of the crowd. Some boos were taking place.
Yeah.
And what was your thinking that night? It looked like you were sharp defensively, but you really never opened up on offense.
Yeah. I felt I was very defensively. I could have been a little more offensive. I felt like I was doing enough to win the rounds. I never felt like I was behind on the scorecard. I was landing, I felt the harder, cleaner shots. And Leonardo Torres, props to him, he kept coming and coming and coming, and he threw a lot of shots. He threw a lot more punches than me, probably double or whatever. But a lot of them, I felt like he missed a lot. A lot of them hit the gloves. A lot of them maybe hit my arms. It's hard to see that from a crowd as well, to see all the shots that land. I had to watch the fight myself a couple of times, and I made him miss a lot. My defense looked good, but as you said, I needed to open up a little bit more and throw a little more shots, and you learn from stuff like that. But I did feel I did enough to win the rounds. The last round, I was never in a panic. I still boxed, because if I felt I was behind, I would have really came forward. He's a tough guy, though. A lot tougher than I thought. I think I underestimated him a little bit, but I was ready. I was in shape. I didn't open up as much as I usually do, but it's good, too, to show my defensive skill. Most of my fights last 2 rounds, 3 rounds. So it's good to get in there with an opponent like that and get that experience of someone coming forward and being able to take some shots as well.
Well, you weren't breathing hard. I mean, you were, like you say, you were relaxed. And you were honest. You acknowledged he threw more punches.
Yeah.
But sometimes judges will see that, and one judge obviously did.
Yeah.
It was a split decision. And there was some boo birds out there.
Yeah, exactly.
And Josh had the same thing in his main event.
Happens. It's a sport of boxing, and you have to move past those sometimes. And like I said, in my heart, I knew I was ahead on the cards. I thought I should have been. The one who gave him the fight gave him every single round, and I was really like, whoa. But it happens.
That surprised me a little. I was talking to him the other night.
Yeah.
I forget his first name, but it's not important. But he was down in Hobbs with me. He was judging down there.
Nice.
But the judges at Hobbs, this was amazing. They had 6 pro fights, 2 MMA fights, which I had to write about, and a kickboxing. None of them went the distance. Everyone was a knockout.
That's crazy.
Oh,
I wanted to ask you, Matt, when you went in the ring against Torres, did you feel any ring rust at all? Because some people may say, and I got to say this too, Matthew, a lot of people expect a lot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, from you, they do, and you've been out of the ring for a while, and right away people want the electricity, excitement. You're right. Your name brings that, so they want a lot.
Yeah, a lot of times I want to see someone go down, and
did you feel any of the ring rust with being out of the ring for as long as you've been?
Honestly, I didn't feel it. Like I said, I felt I was in shape. I was ready. I maybe could have thrown more shots and been more offensive, but he was on me. He kept coming and coming and coming. I had to play a little defense, and I just boxed smart. I tried to box as smart as I could and show a little bit of my defensive talents that I have, because most of my fights I'm offensive. But it was a really good fight, a really good fight for me to learn and get better from that fight.
Keep growing, and that's I think what you want to do in any fight. You learn things, right?
Exactly.
An opponent like Torres, an old veteran, crafty veteran, is not going to back up, and he gave you everything, you gave him everything, you came out on top, and sometimes I think it's again, the judging. Austin will probably tell you this more than I could. You can never count on things, right? In other words, in your mind, you're landing the harder, cleaner shots, right?
Yep.
Then they go to the cards, you're like, wait a minute, man.
Exactly.
So you probably don't want to chance anything and just go out there and do what Diamond Boy does.
Yeah, exactly. That's the case. And a lot of times, too, you can't blame the judges. They're from different angles, and And like I said, a lot of shots you can't tell if they miss, you can't tell if they land. So that's a hard job to be a judge, man. I don't know if I could do it, but even the fight, Errol Spence Jr. and Sean Porter, that was a very, very good fight, and it was
decision for
split decision, very
Spence.
hard to judge. Me personally, being the boxer, and I think I see a little bit more sometimes, especially on TV. I think Spence won it clearly in my eyes. I think he was just landing the cleaner shots and making him miss a lot, but Sean Porter's a dog, and some judges like to see that, a fighter coming forward and landing some shots.
Well, I heard the semifinal was very controversial.
Oh, yeah.
That the Russian, most people I talked to thought the Russian won the fight clearly.
Yeah, it wasn't actually the semi-main event. It was the one before co-main.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, that was a really... I had the Russian up. I watched maybe from round 4 to the end, and I had the Russian winning. But he got knocked down in the end, and I'm like, watch that saved. I thought it was gonna be a draw, but they gave it to what's his name, Mario Barrios.
Right.
Yeah, that was a good fight.
Well, as long as Boston's existed, there's been disputed decisions.
Yeah.
Starting in 1892 when they had Sullivan Corbett with gloves on. Although that one in particular was a knockout.
Yeah.
But if you think about the decisions, heavyweight Jack Johnson, right, back in the day, everybody hated Jack Johnson, right?
Yeah.
They did. So he had to really knock the heck out of some of these opponents and leave no doubt,
Yep.
because he was going to win a lot of the decisions.
That's the best way to do it sometimes. Like I said, it's hard to be a judge, so if you're a fighter, get in there and take care of business.
Right, and I think that's what you did, and it was you were glad you're coming back after 4 or 5 months, or when it was the last card that Legacy had that you were on.
3 months ago.
3 months ago.
It'll be 4 months, yeah.
So your plan in the future is to stay more active then?
Yeah, I need to stay more busy. Even now, I think it was still 4 months. I should have fought real sooner, but like I told you, I wanted to get on a card sooner, and it didn't happen. But I'm excited to get back in the ring sooner than later.
Oh gosh, I think that your fans, which you have, a small legion of them here, and faithful fans here in Albuquerque. Again, you bring electricity when you come to the ring, and you got the New Mexico flag, and you got the música, as we say in Spanish.
Yeah.
You got it all when you come in,
Yeah.
and then you got to perform, because people, and maybe it's wrong or right, they expect a lot of things, right? They expect
Yeah.
things, and I'm sure you expect things yourself.
We got to put on a show for the fans because they spend their hard-earned money on us.
Well, and interestingly enough, down in Hobbs, they have seen Matthew in the ring, but he was speaking.
Yeah.
Something happened to your opponent that night, but Matthew got in the ring and talked about child abuse.
Yes.
And just a stranger to all the audience. And it was a big crowd, about 1,700 people that night.
Yeah, it was.
And you could have heard a pin drop. He got in there, and 30 seconds later, he owned the audience. And so he's a very good talker.
You know what, I look at you, and I look at Josh Pitbull Torres, who goes in the ring after he fought against Cabral in the fight of the year. He goes in there and says, hey, you know what, this is for my friend, whose kid got shot, or whatever he said. And, he's so much more than a boxer, so are you, right? I mean, what happens in the ring certainly doesn't define your life. I mean,
exactly.
Right, so I think when you have those messages, and they ring they resonate for a long time. When Pitbull said that night, I about cried, man, because it's like, look, this guy just finished a war, and he's talking about other people and how the blessings are for other people.
Yeah, that's a big part of boxing. I feel like we have a big heart for the fans, not only fans, but people that live in our neighborhoods or in our state, in our city. We want it to be positive. There's a lot of negative going on, and a lot of us fighters really want to change that and do what we could to change that.
That's so important. We've got one more segment with Matthew Diamond Boy Griego after these vestiges on Legacy Boxing Showcase.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green.
And keep the community green as well.
Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment.
You trash it,
we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
Dream Style Remodeling has been wowing homeowners in New Mexico since 1989. Selected as Best Custom Home Remodeler for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Albuquerque Journal, we're also your exclusive provider for top home improvement brands like Renewal by Anderson, Four Seasons, Blaze King, and many others. Founded and headquartered in Albuquerque, Dream Style Remodeling is family-owned and now employs more than 500 people across the southwestern U.S. In fact, we've helped more than 60,000 homeowners improve their home in New Mexico, Arizona, California, Idaho, and West Texas. We're committed to providing a superior customer experience. We've earned 4.6 stars with hundreds of online reviews and have an A+ with the BBB. Dreamstyle Remodeling is a proud supporter of UNM Athletics. Visit our beautiful 10,000 square foot showroom at 1460 Renaissance Boulevard across from Sam's Club or dreamstyleremodeling.com to make your home remodeling dreams come true.
What is glamour? Frailty. What is desire? Diamonds. They say a life lived without passion is hardly worth living.
Ma'am? 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 Dang, this one made me feel all special.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all, at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, hashtag life change will occur.
Perez Collision Center is a proud sponsor of Proview Networks and Albuquerque Boxing. Perez Collision Center offers expert knowledge on any of your auto body and paint needs. Give them a call today, 505-254-4655, or stop by for a visit at 2415 2nd Street Northwest in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Perez Collision Center.
Welcome back to Legacy Boxing Showcase, sponsored by Legacy Boxing Promotions, Pettis Collision, Ed Nunez, along with my co-host Austin Colleen and studio guest Matthew Diamond Boy Griego. And you, Diamond Boy, you got training with Fidel Maldonado Sr. You've got a fight coming up on Legacy's boxing card on November 9th at Tingley Coliseum. Austin, take it away. I know you've got some questions for Diamond Boy.
Any idea? Have they mentioned some possible opponents to you?
Well, there was one, and that was before we even announced the card, and he happened to fall out. So nothing yet. I stay on them and ask them every week, but they're really good about it. They should find me someone soon.
Now, given your choice, you can fight bantamweight or flyweight. What do you prefer?
I'd rather fight 115, 112. That's
okay.
Flyweight, super flyweight. Bantamweight's 118. I mean, I walk around 126, 125.
Right.
So 115, 112 is that's where I want to fight at.
Now, there's a hot fighter out in Phoenix that you were going to meet in that tournament. But I guess that tournament's done.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not gonna
I haven't
happen.
really heard too much from them.
Yeah, but that they were constantly talking about that fight for you.
Yeah. There's actually two of them from there. I know there's I can't even think of his name.
Yeah, you're actually right. 2 bantamweights right there in Phoenix.
Yeah, they're flyweights.
Now, Louis Burke suddenly has a hot bantamweight. I don't know that he's ready to fight you yet, but he's maybe 3-0 and he's
nice.
all knockouts.
Flyweight though, right?
Yeah, flyweight.
Yeah, I actually heard a little bit about him. Austin Trout went to the barbershop, and we were talking about him a little bit. He's got a couple fights in Mexico, and they're trying to build him up. He ain't ready to
Well,
fight.
Saturday night, Louis' fighters are finally going to get the fight in this country.
Nice.
And that particular fighter has a cousin now who's fighting, I think, at 135. I interviewed him on the phone. I haven't seen him yet.
Nice.
So Louis is going to have, I think, 3 fighters on that Teresa Tapia card.
That'll be good.
And it's going to be another long trip for me, like going to Hobbs. I haven't recovered from Hobbs yet.
Where's that card at?
It's going to be in a tiny town with 4 letters. And I can't even...
Taos?
No, it's down between...
Taos, yeah. Josh Brown's laughing because Taos is in a tiny town. But Austin knows, he just Yeah, I'm sure he.
I've never
it'll come
heard
to
of
him
it.
here.
I never heard of the town. It's beyond Las Cruces, but not in El Paso. It's in New Mexico.
Trying to
4
think.
letters.
Yeah, because I don't go down south very much, but around that way at least of southern part of New Mexico. Diamond Boy, I want to ask you this. You've been training with Fidel Maldonado Sr. for a while now, and we mentioned Junior. He's got the vegan diet. He looks shredded, ripped, and you said you're not quite ready for that vegan diet. I don't blame you. I mean, a lot of people aren't. It works for Fidel Maldonado Jr. But talk about what Fidel Maldonado Sr. has been working with you to improve your game. What's he been working on, and the points of emphasis? What's he been working on with you?
The most important thing that we believe is your feet, footwork. Footwork is 100% put you in position, get you out of trouble. Angles, like I said, put you in position, gives you it keeps your guy looking for you. In other words, he's looking for you, and you're all angles around him. If you've seen Lomachenko fight, his feet is what really gets him out of trouble, and your feet are very important. So footwork is number one for us that we work on.
Okay, that would make sense, and you're working on your defense and different angles, things like that.
Yeah.
It's a science. That's what they call it, the sweet science, and
exactly.
It certainly is, because if not, you find yourself like Papitas Escobar, who we love to death, but you walked right into a right hand.
Yeah.
And you beat Moreno at the Battle of the Brave a couple years. I can't remember his first name, but Alejandro Moreno was a tough Mexican. These Mexican fighters, man. People don't understand. They see the records, and we say this, right? Tavoris Teague and Anthony Hill, the veterans, they come in with 1-20 records. They're like, there's no tomato cans, right? And people think, go in there and fight those dudes and see, because Alejandro Moreno was a tough fighter.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that watch from the crowd, and they don't realize how tough it is to actually get in the ring. So you can never underestimate an opponent's record. My last opponent shows you that he was tough, way tougher than his record showed, and that happens a lot these days.
Austin, we got about 2 minutes left. You got some more questions for Don?
I was thinking of talking about footwork. Santi Giron fights for Steve Garcia. He's a flyweight. He's not ready for you yet, but he used footwork the first 10 seconds of his debut. He took the guy out with a jab, and then the fight was over in about a minute because he knew he could touch the other guy, and people just don't understand that. But you have tape measures in your eyes. You can look at me right now and decide what you can hit me with.
Yeah, exactly.
Or if you're out of range and you can't hit me.
Exactly.
And that's what footwork does for you.
Get you in and out of position.
So, what's your 2-3 year goal? Get some more fights, get that championship shot right eventually. Yeah. And I'll tell you, you had some ring activity, and there's a number of reasons why, promotions, and it's tough. Everyone thinks, he should be in the ring.
Well,
it has to all come together, right?
The guys from Arizona that he was actually talking about, they haven't really been busy either.
Right.
And it had a lot to do with that tournament, slowed us all down, but now we're back to it, and 2-3 years, hopefully, even before that, we can meet up with these guys and take some of these guys out, and start my road to a world title shot or something. We just got to keep on winning and stay ready and stay busy, a lot busier than I've been these last 2 years.
Stay on that road. Austin, one more question for Diamond Boy.
Is there some top 10 United States flyweights that you're familiar with?
I know those two from Arizona. I've been watching the WBC champ. He's from the UK. He's tough. He actually just got a controversial fight that happened. He got dropped with a body shot, and the guy hit him when he hit his knee, and they stopped the fight. So it ended up a no contest because it was an illegal punch. But he shouldn't have lost that fight. But there's some guys out there that I'm keeping an eye on.
Some tough customers. That'll do it for this week's episode of Legacy Boxing Showcase. For producer Josh Brown, my co-host Austin Killeen. Read him at cleanscorner.com. Our in-studio guest, Matthew Diamond Boy Griego. I'm Ed Nunez. We'll be back in 2 weeks for another episode of Legacy Boxing Showcase.
Perez Collision Center is a proud sponsor of Proview Networks and Albuquerque Boxing. Perez Perez Collision Center offers expert knowledge on any of your auto body and paint needs. Give them a call today, 505-254-4655, or stop by for a visit at 2415 2nd Street Northwest in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Perez Collision Center,